Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Angels Don't Lie. Jeannie Street here, and today I'm in my new studio, and I'm coming live on two different platforms, on Facebook and on Instagram, because I thought this would be so much fun. So I'm just going to make sure that we are all set up. You know, the whole tech thing is a little bit interesting, and yeah, so here I go. I'm just going to sign into Facebook, and hey, over here on Instagram, how are you? We're going to be doing some, perfect, I can see it, yay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about relationships. And I thought this was a great topic. The Angels had me write this great blog this past week for the people that are on my tribe. And this blog was all about relationships and how to keep a healthy one. And particularly I'm talking about marriage, because marriage nowadays, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about, marriage nowadays isn't something that we stay in. Most people don't stay married for a very long time. Most people have second relationships and third relationships. And how is it that this has kind of transpired over all these years, where when you used to get married, it was you didn't get divorced, right? You didn't do that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I wanted to talk about some sessions that I've had with women. This is kind of, where spirit will bring, that tone of women coming to me that are in these relationships that are either toxic, meaning that they've lost their power and that relationship has gone really sour, or that their spouse has taken over in terms of, we hear these terms, gaslighting, we hear the terms being a narcissist. So they take over controlling you, they take over that energy. And it's not necessarily just male doing this to female. It can happen in any relationship where when it's off balance and we aren't standing in our power, that the relationship can go in a different direction. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I want to tell you about a client that I recently had, and she came to me for a reading. She came to me, she's like, Jeannie, look, my marriage is a wreck. My life is a wreck. I don't know what to do. I'm on the edge of, do I walk out of this relationship? I feel like I'm staying for my children. I feel like I'm staying for the wrong reasons. And I don't know if any of you have had this experience or have felt that way, but it's not an uncommon thing to feel when you are in a long relationship and things start to get messy, or your spouse maybe has lost their footing and they aren't confident, they aren't feeling well about themselves, or there's money issues, there's struggles, and so that causes a lot of conflict with people. And that causes a lot of conflict in the relationship, because now there's you're not getting along, things aren't going well, and now there's this added stress of finances. There's this added stress of, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to be able to, navigate through the things we need to navigate when we're still having these struggles, when we're having big struggles, right? Hey, over here on Facebook, how are you guys? Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in and joining. Hi, Nancy, how are you? And over here on Instagram, hi, guys, nice to see you. I don't really know how to use Instagram completely yet, but I'm waving. Hey, it's new. It's new for me, the Insta stuff. So anyways, when this gal came to see me for her reading, we sat down, and it works twofold for me when I'm channeling. I can feel the energy of your departed loved ones. I can see them. They can stand right by you, and we can have this whole experience. And I can also have this experience with your angels. This is your guidance system, your guides, your loved ones who want to support you in your journey and help you figure out how to use your power, right? But heaven can't interfere. God can't interfere with free will. So that means that we have to make these choices on our own. But we can bring that information in a session. We can give you that guidance and that higher wisdom, so you have the tools and you have the guidance that you need and the information so you can make a well-rounded decision in what to do with your life. So this client, for instance, when she came to me and she was feeling really broken, like she could walk away from her marriage. And again, I don't know if you are in a relationship or have had this experience in a long-term relationship where you feel like you could just give up at any time when it feels like it's too much or too heavy. I've been married for 33 years, and I can tell you there are moments where I felt completely off balance and broken. Like, is this going to work? How are we going to get past this particular issue? Or how are we going to navigate out of this really big challenge? And when we don't have that connection with our spouse, with our loved one right next to us, then it can be really difficult. Hey, Alexa, how are you, sweetie? Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Love you. Mwah. Give you big kisses. Hey, April, how are you? Hi, Mary, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. So let me know, pop it in the comment section if you have ever struggled in a relationship before. And just put, yes, I understand. I just want to know. Alexa, thanks for asking, sweetie. I'm doing really well. Just hanging out, doing my thing. Hi, Marianne. It's nice to see you too. So Justin says, yes, he's had relationship stuff. It's true. Relationships can be the best thing, and they can be the most painful thing, the most painful experience that we have, right? Whether it's a friendship, whether it's significant other. And Eugene says, yes, I understand too. So when I was working with this particular woman, and this is many sessions that I worked with, is the first thing we address, the first thing we talk about is, how are you respecting yourself, right? If you don't have self-respect, if you aren't coming from the place of love, if you aren't taking care of yourself, then how can you navigate the relationship? your anniversary is today, 8 years. He said, this is something you need to, very funny. No, nothing. There's nothing she needs to tell you, but this is a great conversation to have together. I think really great, right? Because not that there's issues, it's that we want our relationships to have that longevity. We want our relationships to have that connectability. And we want our spouses to equally feel loved and respected as we want to feel loved and respected, right? And there's always growth that we can do. There's always ways that we can open up to that. And there's always room to better communication within a relationship. Absolutely. I totally agree. And that is the truth. Hi, Kathy Thomas. How are you over here on Instagram? So how do we make those relationships better? We can't, this is the big, come on guys, this is the really big one. We aren't in charge of changing anybody else's behavior, right? We can't change somebody else's behavior. We aren't responsible for their behavior. What we are responsible for is our own being. So that means we must change up our reactions. That's the number one thing. We got to work on our reactions to both the stress that comes at us and how we're dealing with things. We can change that up. We can be in a calm state. We can be more kind and loving, more compassionate. That's what we're in control over. And when we're self-loving, when we're really nurturing ourselves, well, guess what? That's what we're teaching our spouse, our significant other to do. That's how we're taking care of the relationship. It's how we're honoring and loving it. But if we aren't putting ourselves first, then that's what's going to get in return. We're going to receive that less, right? How long have you guys been in a relationship? I want to hear all your years. I want to hear all your wisdom. And I love that Spirit brought all this forward again, because I did just have a bridal shower for my niece, and I was able to give her a gift. I gave her several gifts, and each gift I labeled with the reason why I gave it to her. And it had to do with like that marriage advice, from this longevity of being in a relationship for a long time. I've been with my husband since I was 17. So we've married 34 years this year. So 33 years married, all wonderful bliss, right? If you believe that, I'll tell you another one. I understand, but it wasn't. Yes. The hardest thing, 13 years, right? That's beautiful. The hardest thing, 33 years. Yay, you too. And dating longer. Yes, me too. And so this is a roller coaster of life, right? 27 years, April. So, the years go by and, you can have a great year and it's like, woof, we made it through. That was beautiful. And then we can have another year where it's like, what is all this stress? What is all this pressure? What's happening? Why do we feel like we're at odds? And because we are all growing and evolving at different times. So your spouse, your significant other, is going through their challenges and they're healing their parts of themselves, their emotions, their things that have happened, and they're evolving. They have dreams and desires as well, just like us. So if we're not respecting ourselves, then we're not going to respect that they have this journey too. So when they're broken, and we get broken, right? How many of you, let me see a sign of hearts, how many of you get broken, feel broken at times, feel a little bit like I'm off balance, I'm not comfortable, there's things going on. Thank you, Alexa. And you just feel like maybe even not yourself, and maybe there's room for improvement, and you're trying to find that something for yourself, right? We're always searching for that peace within us, right? Right. So we want our spouses to do the same, but for some reason, the overall norm is that we don't get there. Instead, we get in the butting of the heads. Instead, we get into the conflict of a conversation or a challenge of, why are they coming at me like this when they should be doing this? Right? So we want to start with that reflection of self. Can you guys hear my dog scratching in the other room? Like she's going crazy. Okay, so who's ready for a little bit of list? I'll give you my list of items that I feel like are ways to have a great relationship. And I know you guys have your tips too, you longevity people that are watching, which I'd love to hear your tips as well. 40 years in September. Nice. So, right? And was it always easy, Eugene? I'm just wondering. Life always easy breezy? Because if it is, I want to know that secret. But it's also the messes. It's also when the relationships get really yucky and then we come back together that it's even better. How many of you have experienced that? Where you were together and then you fell apart and then you are like, yes, this is beautiful. This is even better than I imagined, because now we broke through some line of yuckiness, some line of, I didn't know that we even could get here to this new higher vibration of us. Yes, right? Woohoo. So let's start with the longevity list. How's that? We'll just bounce around because it seems like what works best. Okay, so longevity. My first thing on my list is a date night. It's something that I implemented with my husband very early on. As soon as my kids were old enough to leave, we went on a date. And I definitely had friends, I was young, 20, I had friends that said, how can you afford to go on a date? How can you afford to go out? And it wasn't easy, I'll tell you that. But we put the priority of investing in us over not going. And, the interesting thing, if you study any finance stuff, if you study, how to become wealthy, how to retire young, how to become a millionaire, one of the first things they always talk about is that you must pay yourself first. Right? It's not about paying your bills first. It's not about investing in outside of you. It's about investing in you first, that you should be paid first. So there's a percentage that you get. There's a whole percentage that they do. They break it down. The experts say that you give yourself X amount percent to pay yourself, and then you go forward. So we always use this as a guidepost of this is how we're going to stay healthy. We're going to go on a date night. How many of you guys go on date nights? I'm just wondering. Do you take time? Do you get dressed up? Do you go to fun places? Just curious, who goes on a date night? Okay, the next thing is respect. Respect, respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. I'll tell you what it means to me. Respect, respect, respect. If you don't have respect for self, then you're never going to respect your spouse. If you aren't taking care of you and self-loving, you are never going to be able to love them the way you want. And I know you want to be filled up. I know that you want to be loved because, listen, this is the universal truth I've talked about on the show before, that the soul is infinite. And that means you are with God and you are here. It's how we connect to your departed loved ones. It's how I channel their messages because there's no separation, the infinite soul. And the other second universal truth, guys, is that we all want to be loved. And we deny that love out of guilt, out of shame, out of fear, out of whatever story, whatever boundaries we make. And that stops us from having that experience with our spouse in that really big vibration. So if we want to have love come to us, if we want to feel our relationships get to that next level and feel their love, well, we best be taking care of ourselves. We best be respecting ourselves. So self-respect. Say it with me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Let me see it. Type it in. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Susan. Thanks for joining. Love you guys. Who do I have over here? Beautiful. Hello, hello. Hello, Instagram. Okay, my next list. You ready? The next one on the list is compassion. And I love this because, and actually this came up with my client last week as well, about compassion. Because when we have compassion for another person, when we have compassion for ourselves, our heart is open. It means that we are accepting that they have a life journey, that they have something going on, that they are experiencing some sort of pain. When we are understanding what compassion is and we're really utilizing it, that means we're really going to open up and allow that person to change their behavior. We're going to give them the time of day. We're going to give them the energy they need, the support they need in order to get better. Because who out there doesn't want a second chance when we mess up? And right, do you guys, we all mess up, right? So if you're going to cut them off, if you're not going to open up your heart and have that compassion to be like, well, I'm done, I'm going to walk away, and you're not going to look at your own stuff and realize, wait a minute, I would want a second chance. Wait a minute, I would want somebody to communicate there's a better way for me to heal this. Then it's worth your investment, right? Hey, Susan, how are you? And Marianne says, absolutely. She believes in this too. Dumpster diving. Wait a minute. What? Absolutely did some fun. To best. Oh my God, when you did your date nights, you did dumpster diving. I love that. We used to go to Home Depot because, what do you do when you have no money, right? If you have no money and you still want to go out, you can go, window shopping. We would go to the mall, but the mall was a little too tempting. So we would do something like Home Depot. We'd go to the diner. We'd go out for a hot dog, whatever. It was not about the whole experience of like having to be fancy. It was about being together, right? So that's what we did. And we had fun. And we still do it. We still do it to this day. They've just gotten a little bit better and a little bigger, our little date times. Hey, Lori, how are you, love? Nice to see you. Hi, Susan, how are you? Thanks for joining. Okay, so my next one on the list is, big one, guys. Are you ready? Keeping the relationship strong. How are we going to do that? We got to let the past go. We got to let that stay in the past. Because if we want to move forward, we can't keep refreshing the old stories. Now, if you need to have your emotions and your feelings heard and validated, then let me tell you, go to a healer, go to a therapist, get yourself some help, but stop holding your spouse, your loved one hostage over and over and over for things that happened in the past, because you cannot get that time back. You're never going to change that story. You're never going to change that story. So do your best to do your own work, right? Heal your own body, heal your own emotions, validate your own pain. Understand that things do happen, right? Life is not supposed to be easy breezy, polka dot bikini. It's messy. Life can be great and then it can be messy, but it can be great again as soon as you let that stuff go. So great. Whoop, whoop. Marianne says, yep. Okay. So now when you're with your peeps and you're hanging out in your relationship, and my next piece of advice is to put your freaking phone away. Put your phone away. For goodness sakes, take a break for safety's sake. If you're out on a date, if you're having a conversation, do not be checking their texts. Do not be scrolling on the Facebook and the Instagram. Put it off. Spend time with just the two of you. That's it. End of story. So you can make it through. Trust me, there were, cell phones are fairly new. We did it for a long time. How about some hearts from all of you older people who didn't have cell phones and made it through without communicating every 2 seconds, right? It's so true. We just didn't have this instantaneous connection. So we can do this. We can have a beautiful relationship without our phone being all up in our business. And it takes you away from being in connection with the person who's in front of you, because now your attention is automatically drawn to this blue screen. I mean, there's science behind this, guys, where it takes your attention and you can't be fully present. So if you can't be fully present, how can you be compassionate? If you can't be fully present, how can you be respectful? If you aren't fully present, then how are you going to let the past go? Because you're not even going to pay attention to it, right? You might be too interested in posting the pics of this date night instead of actually being in it. So what about having that experience, being in it, taking time when you get home to write about it in your journal and have that become a new memory? I like that. How about you guys? You like that? Okay, my next one on the list, and this was the one I gave my client last week, is have fun. Because I was like, girl, you're not having any fun. All you're worried about is the struggles. All you're worried about is the finances, what he's doing, and you're not paying attention to your own fun. And what does that fun mean? It means like paying attention to her dreams and desires, because those are the things that light us up, right? So Spirit says, those are the things that we should pay attention to as well, right? We want to be loving. We want to be kind. We want to be generous. And we want to share our gifts and talents with other people, because these are the things that are going to light us up when we're being in that mode. But if you want to be in that mode, then you got to have fun. And you got to be like in that alignment. Hey, over there, how are you? Thanks for joining. Right? So we got that, right? We're going to put our phones down and we're going to have some fun. And this is the other thing we tend to do, because we're so stressed and we're so worried all the time about money and the kids and whatever our lineup is. I mean, come on, we all have our lineup of stress. That we don't have fun. That there's no time to just, go out for a walk and get an ice cream, or, run away for the day and just do some sightseeing or something kind of completely different, because we have these busy schedules, and therefore we're not investing in ourselves. We're not growing and evolving. And here's what Spirit told me a long time ago, which is, if we want to grow our gifts, which is our connections to Spirit, and really feel that higher vibration, our highest soul self, our goddess soul self, then we have to use our talents. And if we're not using our talents, they're not going to expand. And we're not going to be expansive. And you're an expansive being. So Spirit says, open up and use your talents. What does that mean for you? Well, maybe it's you got to get busy, get painting, girl. Maybe you've got to start, making those cakes. Maybe you have to make some jewelry. Maybe you have to do, I don't know what you do for creativity, but you've got to do it. I'd love to hear what you guys do creatively. If you don't mind, pop that in the comment section so I can see all your beautiful creativity side, your creative side, the beautiful things that you guys do. I'd love to know. And if you say you don't have any talents and you're not creative, then I might slap you the next time I see you. Because that's the lie. And that's ego, that's fear telling you that you aren't who you really are. And you are. You're beautiful. God gave you these talents. I know this because angels don't lie. Angels don't lie. I sing. I love that, Alexa. I love that you sing. I love that you use your voice. That's so empowering. I'm jealous because I want to sing. Oh, Susan, no, you didn't just type that. Oh, you know what's going to happen, girl. The next time I see you, nope, you are creative. You're just not understanding that God has given you talents and you're not willing to see them. It's a lie. 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 And I'm calling you out on that lie. And Susan, you know me. You know angels don't lie. So all around you are talents. All around you are the things that you can do to open up and really feel spirit. Right? She writes, yes, I love that you write. Beautiful. I know you write because you actually are in my new book that's going to be coming out. And I love that. Nice. So being true to you is going to really help your relationship. Did you really ever think that? Do you believe those words? That if you are true to you, any relationship you enter from here on out is going to be so much better. Okay. So the next one on my list is intimacy matters. Alexa, I'm sorry, you're young, but I'm going to talk about intimacy. So plug your ears in the uncomfortable spots. The biggest way to get back in alignment with our partner, with our relationship, is intimacy, right? And if we're not willing to participate, then there's going to be this wedge that's going to be between us. And intimacy isn't just about, the bedroom, guys. It's about rubbing backs. It's about holding hands. It's about combing their hair. It's about touching their face. It's about being present in the life, whole and full, and being one-on-one with your loved one. So intimacy matters in any relationship. I met a woman, I've known this woman for a long time, but I ran into her at a recent event. She's a really dear friend, and I'm like, Amy, I love how you hug. And she said, Jeannie, that's one of the things that I want to be known for, is how well I hug, because I want people to feel my love. And how was that, in any relationship? Could you just imagine just being hugged and held? And wouldn't that make you feel special? Wouldn't that make you feel special? And that's what it is all about, is that feeling that we leave that impression upon people, right? I'm a very energetic person, so I'm all about that. Even how somebody looks at you when they're speaking to you, if they're making eye contact or they're really invested in what you have to say, you feel connected, right? So this is an intimate moment between you and that person. This is an intimate moment between you and the person that you're in the relationship with. And if you want that relationship to grow, if you are invested in it, then these are the things that you can do to improve it. And if you're waiting for the other person to step up and do it, you might be waiting for a very long time. Because remember, we're energetic. And if you aren't being open to receive and you aren't giving that, then you're not going to receive it either. So you're going to be waiting for a very long time. You might as well give it a whirl, open up, and see what comes of that. Okay. Hi, Shelly. How are you? So intimacy matters. Find that time to be intimate. Yes, find that time to be sexual, but intimate for women is more important than the sexual in the beginning. We need an emotional connection with our loved one. So can you open up and do that? Can you start really pouring yourself in to other intimate ways to deepen that relationship? Okay, make the first move. That's the next one, which is what I'm talking about right now. Great segue there, Jeannie. Start the conversation. Make a meal, get some flowers, go out in the yard. If you have no money, pick some flowers. There's so many things that you can do to make that first move, right? Can you be the one? Can you be the bigger person in the relationship, especially when it's all falling apart, to make the move, to make it better? Could you be the one? Is God calling you to say, you've got to do this? And even though you're like, no, I don't want to, God's saying, yeah, you can do it. You can do it, girl. All right, and my final piece of marriage advice that has lasted me these 33 years was never go to bed angry. And this advice came from my husband's grandparents, Gammy and Gampy. They're the loveliest people I had ever met. They welcomed me into their family. Just this teenage girl, they loved me up. They treated me like their own. And it was such an amazing experience to see how in love they were and how they treated their children and their grandchildren. And so while we were getting married, that was their piece of advice. This is how they did it. They said, we never went to bed angry. We always stayed up. We worked it out. And then we went to bed. So there's my piece of advice. It's so important. Can you see if you can do that? Do you guys think that? Like, I don't know if any of you have tried it already or feel like you could do that. Just curious. Okay, so here's my little analogy for you about ownership of energy, of owning your own garbage. So Spirit showed me this great analogy, and I've used it in many sessions because it always makes sense. We'll always, if we end up going to talk to somebody, we'll end up being like all in this conversation about paying attention to what the other person has going on. And so we spend a lot of time in what I'll call the middle of the freeway, right? So here's the freeway and there's ongoing traffic. If there's it's chaos and you're in the middle trying to direct traffic. You're trying to direct what other people are doing and what's going on and which way the cars are going. And over here is your sidewalk, right? And your sidewalk is your life. This is your soul's journey. But your sidewalk is a hot mess, right? There's grass growing, there's weeds, there's actually a tree, it's fallen apart, there's garbage, because you're so busy micromanaging what other people have going on that you're not taking care of managing your own soul's growth, right? So they have their own sidewalk as well. And if they're going to spend their time in the middle of the freeway, well, then that's their business. But your business is to align with your highest soul self. Because look, this is part of your journey while you're here. Your soul is supposed to evolve and grow, right? You want to be this best version of you. Well, then get over there to your sidewalk. Take a look at what you're holding on to in the past. Pick up the brokenness. Pick your brokenness up, clean it off. Be willing to forgive. Be willing to let go. Be willing to respect yourself and love yourself. Yeah. Ooh, who just sent an angry face? What? Oh, Susan, I'm so sorry that you just lost your mom. I'm not picking cards today. I'm just having great conversations, but I can see if your mom might come through in just a little bit. Okay, so there you go. We want to do that with getting out of the traffic. I'm just following my notes so I don't lose track. Yeah, and anybody else have any marriage advice? I'd love to hear, or relationship advice that they'd like to share that has helped them to stay in their relationship a long time. Hey, Karina. How are you, darling? Nice to see you. Yep. So today I'm coming to you live from my new space, and I'm all set up, and it's pretty exciting. It's a new venture again, which is so much fun. God brings us to these challenges sometimes, and we have to find that happy side. So same thing in our relationships, right? We need to find the happiness. And I love that, Susan, right? Laugh often. That's a great advice. Find that time to be happy and to laugh. Hi, Deb. How are you? Nice to see you. Welcome. Glad you could join us. This is Angels Don't Lie. And we're coming completely off time, which is kind of my thing lately, is how can I show up in different ways? And this is what we're doing, showing up this way, which is kind of funny, right? Oh, I see. You must be like pushing all the buttons instead of like, it's like going up. So much fun. Oh, okay. Perfect. Questions. Anybody have questions about relationships or a particular issue that they might be working with? I would love to kind of delve in there and see what Spirit has to say about that. And while we're waiting, yeah, I love that, Susan, acting silly like when you were kids, when you were teens, right? Because that's the best way to get out of our stress, is to be silly, to have fun, right? To lighten it up. And that's what Spirit wants for us. It's what God wants for us. He doesn't want us to take everything so seriously all the time. And we're agenda people, in this day and time and age, that we're always trying so hard to get ahead or get this or do this, that we're not necessarily enjoying our relationships. We're not necessarily having fun, right? We could be just like completely stressed all the time. Hey, Kathy, how are you? My sister-in-law. Where are you? Are you in Hawaii, or are you in California? She's the traveling girl. Karina, I'm glad you caught me too. It's been so long. Hey, Lisa, how are you? How are you doing, darling? Woohoo! So I have a really great event coming up, and if you are on my email list, you are going to get a notification of it. And if you're not, head over onto my website, jeanniestreet.com, and sign up for the email list. And I will tell you what it is. We're going to do I'm going to stretch my leg out. I'm going to be doing a free guided meditation with Lena at her new space. And Lena has done many shows with me here. And we're going to do this meditation and an intro. We're going to have a panel from our previous Shine sisters to answer questions and kind of explain to you what Shine is all about. And Shine, for me, is really a great personal empowerment tool to help with any relationship, but most importantly, to help you with yours. So we're going to be offering this great event. It's June 1st at 4 p.m. And we'd love for you guys to join us. If there's something you feel like you'd like, or you want to find out more about Shine and you aren't sure what it's about, I'd be happy to tell you, answer any of your questions. I know I can tell you that the women that attended the Shine in April are all like overjoyed. They were overwhelmed with the amount of information, with the amount of energy that we poured into the day. They came back with like, this was the best thing I could have ever done. I never realized that investing in myself could feel that good, and I wouldn't feel guilty afterwards. And that I could see growth, personal growth, and I could make a commitment to do the things that I've been wanting to do for so long. So we gave them the tools and the energy, and the experience was actually really incredible. Oh, you're going to Hawaii tomorrow. Yes, we'll hold prayers for Alex. My nephew's having surgery on Friday, guys. Lisa's coming. Yay. Are you going to come in June? I hope you signed up. Woo-hoo. And you're going to come, actually, Lisa, you're saying you're actually going to sign up for Shine, right? So I'm glad that you said that, Lisa, because it's reminding me that Lisa and I had a conversation about Shine a little while ago because she was contemplating coming in April. And, we talked about the idea of bringing a friend, of coming with somebody that you love, that you connect with, because it's a way to have that experience and to continue growing and have accountability. So while we'll give you the tools, having a partner afterwards, having an accountability to say, like, here, let's keep going, let's keep working on this, is really amazing. So we do have a private Facebook group set up as well, but not everybody likes the Facebook stuff. So bringing a girlfriend, somebody that you know will help you and support you, is a really important thing. So I invite you guys to come join us on June 1st and try that meditation out and just get a feel for how I work, get a feel for how Lena and I work together. I know you won't be disappointed at all. I know. How do I know? Because angels don't lie. That's my story. All right, perfect. Anybody have any questions about relationships or a question for Spirit that I can maybe bring to light for you? Does anybody want to book an appointment and doesn't know how? I can answer that as well. Just all these things. I just have all these questions for you guys. And my day is like, this is so early to my normal Angels Don't Lie show, which was regularly airing at 7 p.m. And now I'm here at 3:30, which is, way early, but it's how I'm rolling lately. I feel like no plan is a good plan. Anybody else ever feel like that? I feel like I just got to do this my way. Yeah. I'll grab my cards. Over here on Instagram, I'm going to pull you a card. So I've got both Facebook and Instagram going on because I'm having fun and I think this is hysterical. And let's see. There you go. Here you go. I am going to pull you a card, Instagram. As I'm throwing cards. Okay. Over here on Instagram, this card is all about being honest and logical. This is about challenging information. So things that might not necessarily make sense and things that might be challenging you personally. So how do you move forward with that? And take your time. So that means a delay in maybe the plans that you have going on, but keep going forward, keep pressing forward, and do it with the grace of God. So calling on Spirit, calling on love to support you, that's going to keep it honest. That's going to keep it in a higher light and a higher wisdom. So those things that feel really stressful, and just in case you aren't understanding, the logical mind is a great thing, but sometimes it can be very fearful. So we want to make sure that we're staying in the love tone, because that's where the Spirit can bring us into that higher vibration. Really, really cool. So if you're having a challenge right now, if you're working on moving forward, just take time to take a step back and don't worry about the delays. Rather, look at the situation from the love point of view. All right, there you go, Instagram. Perfect. What do we got over here? Okay, Rena, how is my current situation going to pan out? Yeah, so, okay, Rena, your current situation, how is that going to pan out? Hold on, let me get my notebook. Let me do my thing, Karina. And let me see what the angels have to say. So this is a brand new venture for you. This is what they keep showing, Karina. Like there's a new venture. Guys, there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm sorry about that. When there's a delay, I just have to kind of wait. But I feel like this new venture, and it could be an adventure, it feels like it's a lot of fun, although I feel like there's a little technical stuff going on for you, which doesn't necessarily make sense for you. So, and that feels like the heaviness about it, because I do feel like you are about the fun, you are about the good time, you are about the people. And I feel like the simplicity, the simpler that you can keep it, the easier it's going to be the transition. But it feels like it's good, and it feels like it's actually going to shift up a little bit. So be willing. That's what I'm getting. Your grandmother is saying, like, she's really funny. She's kind of giving me a lecture right now. She's like, be willing to be really soft with your approach, and be willing to take another turn. And that's what she keeps showing me. Like, I feel like there's going to be a bunch, but be willing to move with it, and don't be structured in having it to go one way. Okay? Yay. Susan, you need some love, baby. That's what I feel like you need. Susanites. And I feel like for you, Susan, because I feel like you're holding your heart back in a sense that I feel like that's what they're showing me. Like, your husband steps forward and he's like just surrounding you with so much love, and he's just doing all of these like little hearts, like almost like dropping down like we do on Facebook, as a way to support you, as a way to hold you, and to remind you that you can keep going forward. But I feel like you are stuck in a pattern of less than. He's making me feel like you're in a pattern of the negative thoughts, and the negative become the everyday. And I do feel like life is hard right now, but it is not because it is actually really hard. It's just your viewpoint of it. So see where you might change that viewpoint, Susan, in order to see the joy and see the grace and see where you actually do have power, because I feel like your power is been given away. So the power for me is going back to gratitude and the abundance that you actually have in your life at this time, noticing that. So maybe a little affirmation, a little positive gratitude journal is the best way to get back to that. Okay, my friend? Hey, Susan, how are you, love? Nice to see you. I know I didn't get to see you before I closed in spirit, and I felt so bad. But here we are. We're having fun. I've got my new space all set up, so whenever you're ready, girlfriend. Guys, whenever you're ready, head on over to my website and book yourself an appointment, because I'm up and running. And Susan Farrell, I just spoke to people about a free meditation, a complimentary meditation we're doing on June 1st. So it's on my website, and if you're on my email list, then you're going to get the email. I think it's Thursday it's going out. Right. How are you over here? I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody on Instagram. Nice to see you. Hello, hello, hello. I'm just doing some light readings. If anybody wants any angel guidance, connections to spirit, I will do my best to connect you. Marianne, do I keep trying to stay in contact, or do I give up to accept? So, Marianne, are you talking about a relationship here on Earth? Because I know you have so many people on the other side. So staying in contact, it feels like it's an earthbound thing, and it feels like it's a logical thing. So it feels like in the head, and it feels really stressful. And it feels like it's causing some problems around your chest area. So it makes it hard for me to breathe. Do you understand that, love? And it feels like you're fine to just be still and don't worry about another person. Really stay in the fact that you're a really wonderful, loving human soul. And everything that you do is fine. Okay. Kristen, my mom passed 3 weeks ago from pancreatic cancer, and I helped care for her. Kristen. Kristen, can you just give me your mother-in-law's first name for me, love? Thank you. So, Marion, I hope that does help you. I hope that brings some peace, my love. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. So all I get is like immediately, right away, Kristen, is all this gratitude and all this love around you. And I don't know why she's spending so much time on the side of my head and kind of rubbing my hair. I feel like she's, I don't know what she's stroking, the stroking of the hair. If that's what you did for her, that's what she's making me feel. Again, with all this gratitude for all that you are and all that you do and all that you have done. And it feels like you are doing such an amazing job in terms of, I mean, first off, she's like giving me like all these bragging rights of like, of who you are and the type of person and the type of heart that you have. You're very giving. I also feel like you get taken advantage of in at some point. So keep staying really strong in your power, which means it's okay to say no at sometimes. It's okay to just let things kind of lie when you need to. So, and I feel like you're right. She's so super proud of you. I feel like you have a little hesitation as well, Kristen, about what's going on. But I don't feel like you need to worry so much. I feel like everything is playing out exactly how it's meant to. And I feel like this is what their spirit is bringing to you, is like the wealth of what you've given, wealth of what you've shared is the wealth that you're going to start receiving. So it's abundance coming to you. So open your heart to receive it and don't always think you have to do everything on your own. Okay? She doesn't want to talk about the struggle. She's continuing, sorry. She wants to talk about the happy memories. So she says, keep going around there, okay? Beautiful. Hi, Deb. Can you give me your mom's first name, please, love? How about anybody over here on Instagram? If you would like me to help you out or bring a loved one through, just pop it in there. I'm just going to do a few today, guys. Yeah, just having fun. Little angels don't lie. Middle of the afternoon. You're welcome, Kristen. Thank you. And I'm sorry, I didn't say I'm sorry for your loss, but I am. It's always confusing to me when I'm reading to say I'm sorry for your loss, because your loved ones come through in such this bright and shiny way, and that they're not gone. They're right beside you, and they're showing me the things that are happening in your life and the things that you can expect of them, that they're going to still be there and love you and support you. So just remember that, the soul is infinite, and your loved one, your departed loved ones, are always with you. You can have this conversation with them. Write them a letter in your journal. Talk with them and feel them. So it's about opening your senses and feeling really connected. Okay, Deb. Your mom didn't go by Elizabeth. She went by Liz, correct? And I'm really having like a hard time. It's all around my throat and my neck, and she's making me feel like I'm struggling to like swallow. Kathy, yes, he will have his angels. Our angels are always with us. They don't ever leave us. So he's going to have his angels, and he's going to have his GAM. Don't you worry. GAM's going to be there. Right? That's the number one boy. She's not going to miss that surgery. That's hysterical. What is Hubbard? Am I reading that? I don't know what CHF is, but I don't know why she's making me all around the throat and the neck. And the hard time, like, taking a swallow. Like, what is that about? You called her mother? Okay. Okay. And this, Deb, is this your mom, congestive heart failure? Thank you, Susan, for typing that in as well. So, Deb, I don't know if you understood what we were talking about when she was showing me the throat and the neck and a little bit of a hard time breathing as well. A little bit of pressure on my chest, but it's not all around my heart center, so it's not like I'm feeling a lot of pain there. It's more like I'm having a harder time breathing. And that's what she makes me feel. And it's just her way of letting you know who she is. I also get a little bit of, I'm going to use the word of a crotchety kind of behavior around Elizabeth. It's nothing negative completely. It's just her personality, what she wants to showcase, so you understand that it's her. And she's also pointing her finger, and she's making me feel like, I might want to clean this up. I might want to go and fix up some things. And so she's kind of giving me that kind of connection. Okay, perfect. So that's where the hard time breathing comes in. She's also letting me know that she's picking up the phone, and that's, my sign when they do that they liked to have those conversations and they would talk long times on the phone. So she's picking up the phone and communicating. So if you're getting phones ringing and nobody's there, I feel like this is how she's coming through for you as well. Beautiful. I hope that gives you some peace, Deb. So they'll give me personality things in order for me to connect to who they were here on Earth, in ways to showcase, the things that were important to them or not important to them. And that's just what she showed me. And it's in a good, positive way. It's not in a negative way. That's beautiful. You're most welcome. So let's see. Who else do I have here? I can't scroll back. Sorry, guys. I've got about just 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Since I can't scroll, you're going to have to retype if anybody wants to type something in. I'll see what Spirit has to say. Perfect. Nobody over here on Instagram is chiming in. There we go. Caroline, I don't know what you're saying. Please. Caroline, my mom. Caroline, what's your mom's name? Caroline, did you get that? I just need your mom's name. And Susan, you said your mom is what? Caroline. Is that Brenda? Or Brita? I can't read. Am I saying it right? Is it Brita? Where are you, love? Are you in the UK? You're welcome, Susan. Okay. Perfect. Your mom is all around the stomach. So I have like, I don't know if she had an illness in her stomach, but it makes me feel really toxic and uneasy. So I actually feel like, I'm going to say like a tumor or a blockage. That's what she's giving me. So I feel like this heaviness. And she's saying, I don't know why she's saying the stones are gone. The stones are gone. And she's feeling so much better. She can see brightly again. I don't know if her eyesight was affected, but she's making me feel like she can see really well now. And she can see things that she didn't see before. And I don't feel like that's actually like eyesight as much as it's situations and an openness with her heart that maybe she hadn't been able to experience in life. She's making me also feel, Caroline, that there was some mess left behind, that she created almost like, I'll say, a toxic kind of situation. And I feel like a lot of energy, kind of what she shows me is like drama. So I feel like she's apologizing. It's her way of like stepping up and saying, I wish I had done things a little differently. But she's giving me all this love and all this support, and she's showing me the babies. She's holding the babies. I hope that you understand that as her way of recognizing, I feel like, what's continued since her passing. And it's her way of just, again, pouring out love and showing you that she is still with you and still with you and still with you and still with you. Kristen, I'm so happy. And I'm happy that you know that she's still with you. Susan, you're having trouble. Thank you for the time and talent. I have to run. So happy. Oh, thank you, Susan Farrell. I love you. I know that you were texting something in about, I can't really read it, all of it. It's just going so quickly that I can't keep up with it. So I'm so sorry that I didn't get to what you were asking me. I know you had wanted to hear from your dad and your mom. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, listen, guys, I love you guys. I love you for tuning in and, following me and taking the time to hang out with me for this, impromptu Angels Don't Lie show, and talking about relationships, talking about our loved ones and how we can stay connected and how we can feel them. So open your hearts to compassion and work on your relationships with your loved ones that are here on earth, and validate your pain for the things that have happened that don't have to stay with you and carry and burden with you anymore, that you can open up to a new level of love if you so are ready to. All right, well, I hope that you all have a blessed day. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you again next week.